While they were jocking up, Roan calls me on the cell phone, tells me, you need to get back to base and just stay away from the consulate.
So you tell the case officer, we gotta wrap up this day.
Yeah, she's trying to say her goodbyes, and I'm like, we need to go now. And like any good case officer, she's trying to gather information on what's going on. Then I just looked at her and said, you know what, you're in my world now, you need to be quiet, because let me do what I need to do.
Now, you have been back on the compound in the annex for a while. You said before you felt like you wanted to be with your team, but you also knew you had a job to do there.
I knew I was the only one. I mean, we had two site security officers that were a great help, but from the GRS side, I was the only one that was there.
The DS guys come back first.
Yes.
The armor car held up, but they roll in.
Yeah, I could hear when they were leaving, they announced it over the radio, and then I heard tons of gunfire and knew kind of where they were at just from the direction, and then all of a sudden they're calling that they're coming in.
Hot.
Coming in hot, which means they're coming in fast.
Just have the gate ready.
Have the gate open. You hear that flop flop sound of the tires just, you know, they're on run flats, but you still hear that sound coming through, and both sides in the front windscreen were all shot up. You could see the relief on their face once they got in. Scott got out. He looked like a chimney sweep. He was still black almost from head to toe. I told him to get inside, get some medical help. The other guys asked what they could do, and I told them to get up on the various buildings. And we had one get up on each one of these buildings here, and I went back up on this building until our guys come in. They knew where they needed to go. So each one of them went to their pre-positioned or pre-planned positions. Jack is up on this roof, Roan's up here.
Yeah, Tano and DB are on.
Tano and DB are here. Tig is over in this corner initially, and I'm over in this corner over here.
You guys are exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, some of you probably have smoke inhalation, and you're preparing maybe for another fight.
But now, we know, just gut feeling we're going to get attacked, and my adrenaline went back up. And so
well, it wasn't long after they had showed up, you start hearing tires screeching over in this area. And we started asking over the radio to the TL if Feb 17 is coming over to assist us. And then the response was, they're not sure. So we immediately assumed that anything that's coming in is coming in that are bad guys.
I asked the status of the Spectre gunship, and the teamer came across the radio and said, hey, you know, checking on it, and that's the last time that I got an actual answer if one was, we're going to get any support or not.
I was expecting at least some kind of air support, even if it was just a flyover by a jet or whatever.
Sometimes that's all it takes. It gets the bad guys down.
And no doubt that would have been nice.
I want to put this back up here just so you can describe what's outside the annex that you're most concerned about.
The stockyards. You have stockyards, and this is a lot of concealment. There's a lot of bushes and small trees in this area, and this is what we call zombie land, basically, this whole area.
Most of the activity we're hearing is coming over from right at this intersection.
Yeah, they're starting to stage here in this whole area. This is just a big open parking lot. And here's the house that we're seeing people start to go into that little area.
And they can come into here, and it gives them access to our back gate.
So you're watching this develop in these cars and the people going into this house that you don't really know if it's bad guys or not. And what's the engagement? You're going to wait till they fire on you?
Wait until we see action from them that specifies them being attacking us or going to attack us. I'm not going to wait to get hit before I hit back. We start seeing movement coming from this direction through the night vision goggles.
The caveat here is this house had kids in there that would actually come and pester us every once in a while. You just didn't want to open fire. You didn't want to. I don't want to shoot somebody that doesn't have it coming to them, and definitely don't want to shoot a child. They were starting to move up on us, and I remember DB says, "Hey, I got movement."
Are you lasing them?
Oh yeah, I've got my laser, and I am lasing targets and saying, hey guys, I'm picking out targets, people I see, and I got on the radio with Oz and Tig. I said, you seeing what I'm seeing? And he goes, yeah, I got your laser.
Now, can they see it?
No,
No.
only with night vision.
At this point, when they're moving up, I mean, in my mind, they're getting ready to be, we're going to engage them. We're just going to let them get as close as possible and then take them out. The first thing they fired was a RPG, and it went flying over the compound.
Came over our myself and DB's head.
I was bringing water over to Oz. I got about right here, about the corner of the gym, when a gelatina.
It's a huge flashbang.
Yeah, it's a homemade explosive.
So it goes off. It hit right here, just inside.
So then what
I
happened?
just
To me, it was just, okay, it's on, and we just started fighting, started lighting them up. And I was just lasing targets, shooting targets, and shooting them.
The firefight starts. What does that look like?
It's gorgeous, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's a green hue, and with the lasers dancing back and forth from target to target, you see 3-4 sets of lasers just bouncing back and forth, taking out targets, and you'll see a flash of light, which is the enemy shooting at you, and hear the rounds going past your head, and you're just re-engaging in those spots.
Anybody take a hit?
Yeah, me and Tig were up on this, in this corner, and they were trying to shoot out the lights, and secondary from one of the rounds hitting the wall, or one of the lights splattered up into my face and cut me across the top of the bridge of the nose.
So you push back, you obviously take down a lot of people, and it stops.
To me, and that's how I explain it, it's hey, we won that game. All right, good deal. Morale goes up. I think all of us could feel it. It still wasn't over yet. That was just the probe. That was just they're going to see our defenses, and they're going to be coming back with a bigger force, because that's what we would do.
But there's a big break there then.
big break.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Two and a half hours? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you hear about Ambassador Stevens?
There was a DS agent up on the building with Jack and Scott Wicklund,
Department State agent.
and he got a phone call, and that's how we found out that he was at the hospital.
By 1 a.m., local looters and curiosity seekers have entered the consulate grounds and infiltrated the safe haven. 6 apparently good Samaritans come across an unresponsive man. They take him to the Benghazi Medical Center, where he's worked on for 45 minutes before being declared dead. They have Scott Wicklund's phone, which had been given to Ambassador Stevens during the attack. Calling Wicklund's stored numbers, someone gets to the American Embassy in Tripoli and says a man has been found and he's dead. The caller provides a description matching Ambassador Chris Stevens.
There's a car pulls up and parks right here. A guy comes around from the side of the car, and he's reaching like he's throwing something. And right as he brings his arm back to throw, I engage him. I move and shoot him 2 to 3 times. He goes down, and whatever he threw landed just short of our back gate and exploded, which then engaged. Again, it was
The signal.
the signal.
And this was bigger. I mean, it was a larger force coming through. I mean, there was, I'd say, between 20 cars.
And again, we just started engaging the threats as they appeared and taking them out.
They were like ducks in a row at a shooting gallery, hitting one guy in the head and dropping.
But it's like bursts of fire.
But it's not.
They were kind of spraying. I mean, they were just constantly spraying.
We are doing control bursts. You aim, you shoot. You aim, you shoot. It's not the movies. You don't flip it on fully auto and you go after it, because you can't hit anything. You're aiming a single shot, and you're shooting until they turn tail and run.
So far you've taken AK fire, you've taken RPGs.
Yeah.
Are you worried that something heavier is coming?
Yes. After the second?
Second.
Yes.
You're waiting for a third.
Waiting for something bigger.